Can I ask you a question? How come you ain't never liked me?
Damn fool-ass question like that. Talking about liking somebody. I asked you a question. What law is there say I got to like you?
None.
All right, then.
Lazarus was trash. There, I said it. There's no trying to justify not getting the message like Kendrick at the Super Bowl. 13 must really be an unlucky number because after 13 weeks straight, this show went deeper and deeper and deeper into mediocrity. But how did we get there? How did this show with so much going for it fall through the cracks and end up in the pits of the Adult Swim hell? Let's discuss the milquetoast plot and everything that went wrong because not much went right. Lazarus is like a casserole with potential on paper. There was no discernible reason not to be hyped for this show. To start off, Lazarus was directed by what many of you might call the godfather of contemporary anime, Shinichirō Watanabe. This man has had undisputed classics under his belt. He's the brains that gave us gems like Samurai Champloo, Space Dandy, and a little known gem called Cowboy Bebop. Adding even more sauce to the pot, Chad Stahelski, the director of John Wick, had been tapped to choreograph the fight scenes.
But wait, there's more!
On top of all that, we knew that Watanabe loves to incorporate musical flair into his projects. And who better to incorporate than jazz showstopper Kamashu Washington? Oh yeah, and did I mention that Studio MAPPA was going to be animating? Yeah, that's Studio MAPPA. I don't know about you, but this right here was a no-brainer for what I was expecting to be an Anime of the Year contender, right?
It's not good.
Lazarus's conception wasn't the issue. It was far, far deeper than that. The very narrative of the show is kind of ass, kind of mid, kind of stale and bland. But let's get into it. What's Lazarus even about? Imagine a world in a distant future. The futuristic tech, dystopia wastelands, and this miracle drug called Hapna has encapsulated the world because Hapna can cure everything. Cancer, gone. Heart disease, gone. Mental illness. The verdict is still out on that one. In this futuristic world where human disease is no longer an obstacle, how do you think the world chose to spend it? Endless partying and drugs, of course. The creator of Hapna is Dr. Skinner, who has mysteriously gone missing, only appear on every TV in the world with a special announcement. Yeah, you know that drug I gave you? It was laced with fent. In all seriousness, Skinner declares that every single person who has consumed Hapna will die in the 30-day mark, 3 years since taking the drug. So this would roughly affect 99% of the human population.
Fatality.
With this revelation, who do you think they send to stop him? None other than Lazarus. But who exactly is Lazarus? The answer will disappoint you. Teams composed of 5 heroes brought together because of their extraordinary skills. And you're probably thinking there's gonna be some super soldiers who are gonna hunt down this man Skinner. But no, we got these guys. Are you telling me this is the last hope for humanity? We've got Axel Gilberto. He's our spiritual successor to Mugen and Spike. He's got the spiky hair. He's got the fun-loving, devious personality, even down to the ass-kicking he does. But he's no Spike. He lacks that maturity and quiet depth that balances out the goofy shit he does. And then there's Doug. They did this guy a disservice. They gave him a non-generic style of dreads, so cheers for that. But his backstory is basically this.
Back when I was an academic researcher, a guy said to me, there will never be a Black Einstein. And that it's impossible for people like us to win a Nobel Prize, no matter how hard we tried. Unfortunately, I ended up hitting him.
Yep, that's all of his backstory. That's all we get for the black guy. Then there's Christine. She's a baddie, competent, capable, and kicks a whole lot of ass. Even tries to rizz up Axel at the end of the series. She should have thrown the cheeks at him way sooner when he can actually still walk. Too little, too late. Elena's a hacker girl who spends the majority of the show being soft-spoken and typing away. And finally, I don't want or need to know this kid's name. He runs around in a dress for an episode, and honestly, in the grand scheme of this plot, I'm not sure what this teenage boy of pretty average intelligence and fight skills does to warrant even being a part of this story.
What is the 5 fingers say to the face? What? Slap!
Well, the team gets these explosive wristbands placed on their arms, and they're told that they are not allowed to take them off or they'll explode. It's given very...
What, we some kind of suicide squad?
I also thought it was weird that nobody on the Lazarus crew tried to even call the bluff and maybe tried to rip off the wristband, or that they had any objection even wearing them in the first place. So to say you think with this ticking time bomb, the entire world is about to die in less than a month, we'd be racing against the clock, but Lazarus doesn't know what to hone in on with this 13-episode runtime. I'm trying to say in a sophisticated way that they spend the entirety of the show fucking around. The majority of the middle episodes follow the heroes into a trail that basically establishes their backstory in a way that's somehow supposed to lead back to Skinner, but is always a red herring. We get cults praying to a cybernetic god, a Russian espionage kidnapping scheme, and a whole ass vacation episode.
You what?
Just to name a few. But also, case in point, there's episode 3. They go to investigate and they run into this guy.
Excuse me, do you know a man named Jerry?
Hey, buddy, the guy you're talking to can't see anything.
Look familiar? This bonehead doesn't even notice. Axel still finds time during their manhunt to play some b-ball and dunk on the local kids. There's also a cool chase and fight sequence, but that shit has nothing to do with Skinner. Episode 5. Axel sneaks into a building that had produced clinical trials of Hapna and does some freaky stuff with a black dude in the elevator. I mean, what the hell even was this shot? The elevator fight scene was cool and all, but at the end of the episode, still, no answers. Episode 6. Elena and Blondie infiltrate a cult run by an AI god where Elena had originally escaped from. In the meantime, the crew is chilling in a motel and Axel is doing flips over a car to pass the time. Y'all, where the hell is Skinner at? Need I say more? This show was spinning its wheels and wasting my time. All this dry space, slow and meandering moments could have been either doing something productive, giving characters way more banter to establish a relationship, or better yet, actively looking for Skinner. Oh, and at the very least, give us a villain we can root for. That was until we get this badass right here. This is Shoryu. He's an assassin, and he makes his appearance somewhere around episode 9 or 10, and his character proceeds to just ore farm for more than half the seeds he's in. I mean, I had to watch every episode of this show twice for this review, but I played back this fight scene at least 10 to 15 times. This exactly here is the kind of shit Chad Stahelski can bring to a project like this, but even with some of the most stylish choreography, it still couldn't help the presence of the looming doomsday threat. No matter how cool this character or the scenes felt, it didn't justify reserving a cool character like this until almost the end of the series. We've got shit to do, Mr. Assassin Man, and that goes for how I felt for most of the action in Lazarus. Stylish when it needed to be, fast-paced, punchy in certain spots, but not enough to keep me engaged in this plot. This all leads to the epic finale of how the show ends. Not the building collapse and the assassin man losing all of his aura in the span of a few minutes. No, our team tracks down Skinner to this river and he's just chilling like a villain, probably drinking a delicious PBR or something. And then he just passively just writes down the cure in 5 seconds on a napkin.
What the hell is that?
The cure gets reproduced in a matter of hours and the world's population is saved. The end, I guess. MAPPA, jazz, Shinichirō Watanabe, and the action-adventure thriller. All the things I love coming together despite me. Lazarus was not bad, but it was light years away from being remotely good or memorable. This show was like throwing all the perfect ingredients together in a blender, but not pressing the blend button. What you're left with is a slow as molasses action show with bland characters and even blander plot. Great fights that couldn't quite make up for a show that lacks tension, urgency. Lazarus was a slog, but at least it was a stylish slog. And hey, the Lazarus team is still together at the end of the series, so maybe this will lead into a great season 2. It's season 2. I'm giving Lazarus 2.5 out of 5 Spike Spiegels. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Lazarus. Did the show meet your expectations? And what's your favorite Watanabe work? Comment down below. I hope you liked the video and subscribe to the channel. And as always, check your inbox, delete that recycle bin. It's been your boy Spam Folder. Fight me in the comments. Peace.